Honey. Perfect. All right, we're live. We're back. My name is Sunny Ray. This is the Sunny Ray Show. And I'm joined by Hanne. She's calling in from Finland. She's the co-founder of my French is so bad. I should have practiced. Løa Homebase. Did I say it right?
Correct.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's good. So tell us a little bit, if you don't mind, maybe off the top, what you guys are building, a couple sentences, and then we'll spend most of the interview talking about you.
Wonderful. Well, first of all, thank you, Sunny, for having me here and having La Joie here. Me and my co-founder Anna-Mari Lammasari are two Finnish business ladies who always done an international career, and we both had this dream individually to have multiple home bases around the world and have a community where to return to. And a few years back, Anna-Mari called me. We known each other way back, and she called me that, Hanne, what's up with you? How are you doing today? And I was somewhere at the London Heathrow Airport going one place to another, and she introduced her idea to me and said that, would you like to build something like this for me, and what's going on in your life? And I said yes immediately, because that was so much aligned what I wanted to do in my life. And the whole idea there is to live together with other seasoned women and share the life experiences on a daily basis, what we do. And that's what we have been creating now for 3 years. Giving access to seasoned women for live internationally abroad part-time.
Interesting. So take us back to that little town in eastern Finland. Like, what was childhood like for you?
Well, I've been very fortunate to live in, I say very fortunate to live in Siilinjärvi, which is very close to the Russian border of eastern Finland. And there, being a town girl, and then also half of my childhood being the country girl. So I got to see both worlds, so to say. And I was fortunate to have a grandmother who was very matriarchal, like, and she taught me alongside with my dad that it's very important to have a diversity in life, and we take people as they are. So whether you are young or old or disabled or men or woman or whoever, we all have something to contribute. And she always made sure that all of us who were doing whatever we were doing, cleaning the yard or the kitchen, or picking up potatoes from the field, or just doing our homeworks from school, that we contribute somehow to the family and to the neighbors and the community that we are living in. So I learned that back there.
And so you were driving tractors and motorbikes before
Yeah.
most kids ride bikes. So what did that early, independence teach you?
It taught me through my grandmother and through my dad that you can be who you want to be, no matter whether you are a boy or a girl and how old or how young you are. So as a girl, I was growing up among the boys, so fishing and hunting and driving a tractor and driving a motorcycle, very old one at the time, in the field and in the town, and doing my theater practices and everything. And it was a relief to me in the sense that I get to see different kind of worlds. I got to meet different kind of people, from sport to students who are very good at math, to those who love music, those who love doing woodworks or whatever. And it taught me so much about life and different people that I'm very fortunate to have that kind of background. And it gave me so much perspective on life,
That
to
is
understand
awesome.
how how the world works.
And then, you've lived in Finland, Germany, Australia, Thailand. What pulled you, out into the world so early?
Well, it goes back to my family. My relatives from both sides of mom and dad, there has been a few families who've been living outside of Finland. And I got to learn from the very early stage that, you can be who you are, and you can pursue your dreams. So I always had this idea that, there must be something more. When my godparents gave me this Finnish kantele, it's like a small 5-string instrument that you play with, like a bass player, but like that. And they gave me that one and a very nice dress. And I was then 5 years old, and I was in the farm celebrating my birthday and they asked me to dress up with that lovely dress. And I was like, I cannot do that. I cannot wear this nice dress in the middle of the farm, where you get dirty and you do all these different kind of things. But they insisted me to do that. And when I had that dress on, it made me feel that, there are different worlds. And ever since I was 5, I understood that we can do things differently. We don't have to be in one silo or in some sort of expectation that somebody else has laid on us, but we can pursue our dreams. And that's how I got interested in that. Okay, what kind of life does my godparents have here, or what does my cousins live in a different country? How do they do life, and how do they live there? And what about my other godmother in Germany and my cousins somewhere else? And I became so curious about different cultures, different countries, different religions, different people. And then also that, if you are living in Finland, speaking Finnish, learning Swedish and English and all that, how are the people living in Africa or Australia or in Mexico or South America or US? Is their life similar to mine? Do they have the same problems and same challenges and same joy? So I just wanted to get to know those people, and had friends from very early stage all over the world.
And then you spent a decade in sports marketing and management. What did that world teach you about people and performance?
It taught me that discipline is something that we all should have much stronger in our backbones and our minds. And whatever you want to do in your life, whether that's sport or music or business or whatever, build a family or just live and enjoy your life wherever, the discipline is something you should form routines, but also the network. Nothing in sport is done alone, even though that you would be a one-person performer. You always have a team backing you up, helping you out. And business world doesn't have that often. There might be companies, but the company leaders are often alone. They don't collaborate. They don't support each other's so much as they should. And the same goes with different cultures and different, even in companies, different departments. The finance may not talk to marketing and sales and development and all that. And that's what I learned in the sport and marketing world. And that has led me so much forward, and to understand holistically how the business works and how different cultures are so unique, what we can learn from them, and how we should collaborate with different people and different cultures.
There's a famous Finnish word, sisu.
Mm-hmm.
How would you describe it, and where do you see it in your own story?
Well, it is, sisu means perseverance. It means dignity. It means that no matter what comes, you pursue your dreams. And it also a candy, like a salty licorice as well. So it has a double meaning there. And I love that candy. But to me, it has taught me from the very early stage that what my grandmother and also my dad taught me, that if you want to have something, you will find a way. And just be creative. If you have to open a wine bottle and you don't have something to open it, the opener, you can do that with the screwdriver and just, have that, or even with a stick or something. And you just have to find a way. And that is something what I learned. And that is something what I understood, that, just find a way, because there's always another way that you haven't thought of. And that's how I've gone through my business life as well.
And you became a single mompreneur along the way. How did motherhood reshape, the founder you were becoming?
It brought more humanity into it, and the understanding of that people around the world are always the same. And it also taught me that if you think that a single mother cannot run a business, or women should be only in one role and be at home when they have a child, which is very natural. But I was never like that kind of mother who would be sitting in a sandbox and just playing with a kid. But I always wanted to pursue my own dreams. And I always thought that the baby is not going to limit me of doing my things and my life. And I thought that those things what are important to me would open up the child's mind and eyes as well along the way, that I would give that girl who I have now as a teenager, would give much more opportunities and avenues to look at the world. And to me, that is very important, because that's what I learned myself through my relatives and through my network and community that I had in my life. Very early stage.
And looking back, what part of your early life do you think was like secretly kind of preparing you to build something global?
It was that time that I mentioned that I wore that dress, which is very funny to think about it. But it got me to think that there are different ways to live this life. You don't have to live like your parents or your cousins or the people on your road, but you can create your own way. One of my uncles was international entrepreneur, and that shaped my perspective. Also, that you can do things, you can start from scratch, and the generations before you don't define your life. You can always do things, you can be different. And very often at the young age, I was feeling that I have my other leg somewhere else outside of Finland. And when I landed some years back to Africa, I felt that, okay, this is the missing part. And that's where I found my home. Now I also live in Ghana nowadays, and southern France and Finland. So I travel between 3 different countries and 2 different continents, and call each one of these places my home.
And then maybe just to switch gears a little bit towards like your aha moment, right? So in 2015, you went all in on entrepreneurship with the Hupeli Group. I'm maybe pronouncing that wrong, but what pushed you to finally jump?
I had that dream to be an entrepreneur since my teenage years. And that's when I started my own first company with a friend of mine from the same street. And we did something with the children. But there was a time in my life that so many things changed, and I was hitting my head to the wall when I was working with different companies. And I realized that there's something more that I can do. I can give to the world and to the customers and partners something more if I do it my way. And nobody is limiting me in the companies. And I work with really great companies. I don't mean to put it in a different perspective, but I wanted to do something more. And that's how I decided that after working with small and big companies, national and international ones, something was not right. And when the time came that I got separated from my child's dad, and I got unemployed by the time that there was at the moment, I was figuring out that, okay, I need to find the people and things that I want to do in my life. And now I can finally pursue all my dreams and do whatever I want with whoever I want and wherever I want. And I've always had that kind of lifestyle that I can do my work wherever. And I've always been there. So my friends were calling me always, where are you now? That was the first question. And then they were asking, what do you do over there? And when you're coming here where I am. So now I was finally able to do things. And that's how I started Huipule Group and the business seminars. And I work with NASDAQ and different companies, Finland and internationally. And that was one of the great starts over there.
And you've been called the queen of networks, right? So when did you realize networks weren't just nice, that they were your superpower?
I've done that all my life, ever since I was a little girl. Even the people, when I was living in the former street of my childhood home, the older people there, I mean the adults, they came to me to ask some help. That, Hanne, who should I go if I have this kind of challenge? Or if I have this kind of idea, who should I go to? And I was always wondering that, why do they come to me and not to my dad or mom or somebody? And I realized that only when I was around my 30 plus years, that is my superpower, actually, because I did it so naturally. I always connected with different people. It didn't matter whether they were the cleaner or the president or the king or the queen or the garage guy or manager of some, or CEO. I was always there, like, like a fish in the sea. And because I was so curious to learn and know, why do these people think? Why do they do that way? What's behind different kind of stuff? And that's what I've done all my life. And I was very persistent building certain kind of networks and relationships. And then people came to me that, how do you do that? So I started to teach people also how to do meaningful and long-lasting networks.
I love that. So you've been called the sorry, you and Anna Marie interviewed nearly 1,000 women aged
Over,
50 to 80.
over.
Wowzers.
Yeah,
What did you
all around the
hear?
world. Yeah.
What did you hear that you couldn't unhear?
That's a very good question. I think one of the surprise for us, in a way, was that we are not the only ones having this kind of dream and these kind of thoughts to live internationally, actively, wherever we want to live, part-time, and have different home bases, and have that have the community around, have those like-hearted women, as we call it. And I think that was a little bit of a surprise, that there was a big wave, like we call it a tsunami, of ladies all around the world that who had the similar dream. And that was a bit of a surprise. But something what we didn't hear, which we never had in our thought, was that when we talked with these ladies from different ages, different backgrounds, different situations where they currently were, they thought that you brought this idea to life, that what I've been dreaming of, and you give us hope, so that there's life after whatever situation they are living in currently, and that there's different ways to live, that we don't have to end our lives when we are 50 or 60 or 75, or when we are divorced or widowed or empty nesters. We can still live that active life and international life that we've been living so far, or now it's finally our time to live that kind of life, what we've always dreamt of. And that word hope is so big, and it makes us so humble to continue, that we know that there's a purpose behind it. It's bigger than us.
And what was a single insight that made you say, the entire co-living industry is missing this market?
We started with a co-living incubator at 2024, and we understood the whole concept and the business behind co-living. But we were very early understanding ourselves that actually what we are doing is something different. And we are not part of co-living, but we are actually part of longevity industry. And some people call that the silver aged or silver industry or something like that. And we understood that this whole niche of women who are in their third quarter of life, it's actually huge. It's millions and millions of people, and they are living different kind of life than ever before has been understood, that people live in this world today and in the next 10, 15, 20 years. And that understanding, when we have that moment that, oh my gosh, this is something bigger, we are actually building a new category, and we are building a new method called connected living into this world, and we are introducing that to people. It was something that just got us into a place where people started to actually understand that co-living is something what we desire, because in the third world, so to say, in the Western world, we've been living so much alone, and there's so much loneliness. So people are desiring going back to the networks and meaningful people who can they share the life with. But then the part of actually living with someone else is part-time, not just during the holidays, something meaningful.
Yeah.
And myself, as a single mother, I've been always wanting to have the help in the daily life.
Yeah, no, and like you said, that was an observation I had at a very early age as well. As I'm born in Canada, but I would visit Kolkata, Calcutta in India,
Yeah.
every year because my parents are from there, and
Yeah.
very, very different format, right? Like here, it's all
Yeah.
about everybody's kind of splitting up. Oh, you're 18, get the hell out of the house. Grandparents are like in their own little home,
Yeah.
feeling purposeless. You got little kids that are trying to find their own way. They don't get any attention. You got the
Mm.
parents like off in different directions, and everyone ends up kind of just being lonely when it's like almost self-inflicted. Whereas when you go to
It-
countries like India, you just walk into the house and there's like 20 people and the grandparents and the
exactly.
kids, and everybody's just like every day's a party, and
And
it definitely
that's the same thing in Africa.
right,
And
right.
you still have in Asia and in Africa, and I think the South America is pretty similar.
Mm,
That you have the community, you have the people there, and the foreigners, the outside of your community are always welcome. But in the Western world, in Europe and North America, we've isolated ourselves. We don't know who lives next door.
yeah.
And that is something what we deep inside are missing.
Yeah,
And
that really
that came
resonates.
throughout those talks to men and women as well, that people are looking for the meaningful connections
Yeah.
and people who to share the life with, like myself. I want to share the joys that I have in my life, in my business, or in my daily life with my child, or just by myself, or with my friends, or the sad things, and not
So
just
so so most founders, they chase young users. You went the
yeah.
opposite direction, right?
Yeah, we go totally to the opposite direction.
So talk about that a little bit. I mean, that's quite unique. I talk to maybe 20 founders a day, and that's not something you hear.
Yeah.
But that seems quite interesting because maybe they're like the forgotten. Yeah.
And that's exactly the word what you use: forgotten, unseen,
Mm,
unheard. If you
mm,
think about, little over half of the world's population are women.
mm-hmm,
And then nowadays, if you look at any country, basically, except
mm,
perhaps Africa, that's different. But if you look at any other country or the continent, the people who are above 35 or 25 years of age, or even closer to what we call the retirement age, 60 plus, there's more of those people in the world, and especially in the Western world. And half of those people, or even a little more, are women. And the women, when they turn 50 or are nearly 50, 60, 70, 80 years of age, in today's world, they have a careers background, they have international background, they speak perhaps different languages, they've traveled the world, they've seen the world, they have different kind of networks and everything. But that has also created them more wealth and understanding of themselves as well, and they want to have the services. Women are those who go to the hairdresser, who go to the clothing stores, tailors, um, have a different kind of classy shoes, bags, all that sort of things. Women consume the world differently than the men. And if you think about that, more than half of the population, even the age of 50 plus, are women. Why nobody is serving them? Why those women are not offered anything, any ways to invest, to live, to consume different products and services? And that is something what surprises me, if we talk about startup life and business life, that why this sector and these women are so forgotten. There are only few, let's say, bags or shoe shops and businesses that are offering these kind of things, and clothing. But people use, and women use money differently. They make different kind of decisions, they use different kind of services, and they consume the money and the investment in a very different way, and they build the companies in a very different way. And we understood, we heard these kind of wishes from the ladies as
mm.
well.
And Hannah, you stepped out of the spotlight for almost 2 years, right, to build
Mm.
La Joie. So what were you learning in that quiet stretch?
Oh, very many things. Me and my co-founder Anna-Marie, we learned so much about ourselves, but also from this industry, from co-living, from longevity, from the business life. We are not the fresh chickens here, but we've learned so much. And what really came as a surprise, like I said before, is that there are no services for mature women, those who want to be active, independent, and international. And especially nowadays in the Western world, when we are so solo, so independent, the communities that we have are not so focused. They might be very siloed in one place, but then you are missing those ones who have the international active careers one way or another, or those who want to live that kind of life nowadays.
And so for someone hearing this for the first time, what exactly is connected living?
Very good question. It is a new method that we've built with Anna-Mari under the Løa Homebase, and it's a method that we created based on the research that we did, over 1,000 women interviews, and those discussions that we've had, the understanding from the researches that we've done. And connected living is something that where you live the daily life together as a local, you do things together. There are certain touch points during the day when you meet others, when you feel that way, but you also have the independence, you have the privacy to do things on your own way and in your own way, and be in your own space when you want that. And connected living is just living in a like-hearted community, as we call it, so that it gives you joy in different ways. You can share the experiences, you can find support, you can do new things, you can always learn and grow. So it keeps the life going on, instead of what the world today very often still is saying, that you need to pause, slow down. But we say, no, heck no, let's just keep going, because we are not dead. We are not the one that being in an assisted living or in that kind of phase of life. We are still very active and going.
Yeah,
So
and it's
that's what we
it's
do.
that sense of purpose, right? And that like motion that really keeps you alive, right? I mean, how many, I
Exactly.
haven't read the stats exactly, but I've heard that, as soon as people retire and mentally retire, they
Mm,
start to degrade, right? It's all about just keeping your mind active, and I love
exactly.
this idea of bringing together people. So how is what you're building different from like a retreat, a hotel, or like a traditional senior living?
It differs by the nuances, I would say, because we are not Airbnb, we are not a hotel. This is not a travel product. This is not a hospitality product. This is not a real estate, but we are at the intersection of all of these different industries. And what we do differently is that we have exquisite properties where you come to live. They are in a countryside, in the city areas, in towns and villages. So you have a network of what we call the mosaic of home bases in different countries and regions. So you get to choose the environment where you want to live, and you can commute between those. But then also the community, which is in core. So if you go to Airbnb or a hotel or a retreat, you are there for a certain period of time, which is also the same thing for us. But the difference there is that you have the community at core, people who support you, people who you do the daily life things together when you want that. And also that you live like a local. You are not just consuming the culture, just not going there as a tourist, but you live like the local way, even though that you may not understand or speak the local language. You have a person there who guides you through the what we call a flow, and you get to step into and see it from inside. I call it myself as you get in from the kitchen door, and you be part of the local community, and we collaborate with them as well.
And you call your residents women on the move. So who is the women La Joie that was built for?
It's independent women, active women who want to have international lifestyle and a community that grows and goes with them.
Mm. And you've been at the Monaco Women Forum. You've been on BBC World Service. So what's shifting in the conversation around the longevity economy?
Very good question. The shift, what I see personally, and what Anna Maria and myself are seeing, is that the longevity industry begins to be understood, that there are different kind of services, what is needed. There's a different kind of, let's say, investment instruments that is needed, different kind of services, different kind of people are stepping into the world, that we need to create the whole ecosystem around women as well, not just keep them back there and understand that the world has been built for men and the women have been always back, but now we are coming as equals there. And when the women are more, we are not more than just the bras, the high heel shoes and lipstick on, but we can contribute in a different way. And that what is very nicely coming out, and that's what I see is very good, that the longevity industry brings new services, new businesses, new opportunities for all of us, not just for us women, but also for men to understand. And the world is not the same as it was 5 years ago or 10
Yeah.
years ago. So we need to keep ourselves up and develop the world in that sense.
And you're building across France and Italy first, but how do you
And Morocco
choose?
as well.
And Morocco, wow.
Yeah.
And how do you choose where you go next?
The ladies basically tell us where to go. So that's why the community that we have all around the world, from Australia to Europe to Asia to South America to Africa to Northern America, the ladies tell us where they want to live, where they want to go, and we then try to fill that spot and that gap. And we've been happily to be able to provide that one now.
And for founders watching, what does category creation actually look like day to day? Like when no one's done it before, what does that look and feel like?
I would say it feels amazing, messy, hard work, enjoyment, and it is an opportunity to be your best, to create the world with partners to the one that is now needed, something that is now looked for. And I would say it is the joy to build and meet the opportunities that are there, and giving the possibility for others to understand what it means as well. I hope that answers to the question, but there's a lot of
Yeah.
opportunities around.
Of course. Wow, 30 minutes already passed. So I was going to say, maybe help me land the plane. 5 years from now, what does the world look like if La Joie wins?
Oh, we will. And not just if, it's just a matter of when. Yes, the world has been recognizing us at the moment, and we are very humble and grateful for that one. And that means there are more leverage for us as who are working in the longevity industry and also the co-living industry. There are also opportunities now to build different kind of businesses. And that means what I said before, that whether you are a local shoemaker or whether you are as an international airline, we all can come together now in a different way, and we can collaborate, because that's how I see where the world is going. It can be the farmer in Africa who provides the local products for our home base in Africa, but then we can also collaborate with the international airline, for example, that takes us to this different home base in different locations. And those different services are then coming along, whatever is needed along the way, the cleaners, the private chefs, the trains, the cleaning, laundry services, eye classes, the cardiologists to take good care of us, and PTs to keep us fit, or tennis coaches, or whatever that may be. So I see that the world is coming more uniting, and we all can learn from each other, and we can do different things. The world opens up a bit more. And that's what I see. And that's what I want the world to see also through our ecosystem.
I love it. I just came across this stat yesterday. I don't know if it's
Uh-huh.
factual or not, but I'm going to throw it out there. You just said tennis. Supposedly, people who play tennis on average live 9.7 years longer than somebody who doesn't play anything. And it was like the highest amongst all the sports because of the
Wow.
community, like not the community, but the fact you're playing with someone and with
Mm-hmm.
others was one factor. The fact that, the ball is spinning and coming at you at 50, 80 miles per hour, and you've got to be like
Alert.
neuroplasticity and all
You know.
this stuff. It like helps with your brain. And then like the short bursts of like running followed by, like quick changing of directions and all that. He was just talking about it, how tennis
Yeah.
is like a longevity hack. And I was like, okay, I've got to pick up a tennis racket. Like this is my reason. I want to live longer. Who doesn't? Anyways, what a beautiful interview. I love what you're doing. So maybe help me in terms of like if people want to learn more about it or if they want to double click where it's the website they need to go to, and then also how do they tap into your like stream of consciousness? Do you write? Are you on LinkedIn? Are you on Twitter? Maybe just share that, and we'll bring this one to a close.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Sunny. You find us from LaJoieHomebase.com. So it connects the French word joy and then the English word home base. And you also find me and my co-founder Anna-Mari Lammasara from LinkedIn. And you find me there under the name Hanne Nuutinen. Also from Instagram through our company page there. Follow us over there. And then you can always reach out to us, whatever channel works for you. And hopefully
Awesome.
also in person.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for everyone tuning in and listening to us live, and for everyone that checks us out in the future. Until next time, Hannah, hang out for 1 minute. I'll bring this stream to an end. Take care, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.